King of Diamonds, I'm just looking. Okay. This is an opportunity to really explore the hesitation beliefs with pretty thought-provoking questions. And we're going to use a lot of chunking down reframing here. This is the King of Diamonds. Magic words are this. Hey, that's a place to start. Or maybe you're just saying that because you've not asked yourself questions that you need to answer before you buy. Now, I don't know if I am the right consultant for you or if you are the right client for me. But if I could ask you a few questions, it may help you. May I ask you a few questions? Sure, Joe, go ahead. Well, I'm curious. What happens when you imagine owning a new home? Boy, that would really be nice. It would be great. Well, what's important about buying a new home to you? And then listen to their answers. And what would blank give you that you don't already have? Listen to their answers. And when you say fill in the blank, could you give me more specifics? So this is a chunking down technique. So when somebody says, I'm just looking, what you're going to actually get them to a place where they're giving you specifics. So if they're just looking, it's a real general thing. Oh, I'm just shopping through the store. What you want when you're all done is they're saying, well, here's specifically what we're looking for. And that's in retail, in the retail world, that's like the dreaded question when somebody walks into a retail store and says, okay, what can I help you? Can I help you? Yeah, we're just looking. And like the retail person goes, oh, okay, just lookers. And what I'm going to suggest to you is that you want people to say that because it's going to set up this sequence of questions. And when somebody walks into your open house, the first thing you'd say to them, hey, are you folks just looking? Yeah. Oh, great place to get started. Because it's like an Aikido move. You're moving in the direction of what they're saying that they want to do. Or maybe you're just saying that because you haven't asked yourself the right questions that you need to answer before you buy. Embedded command. You buy. Now, I don't know if I'm the right consultant for you. Embedded command. I am the right consultant for you. It's in a negation. When you put a negative in front of the positive statement, a negation when I say, I don't know if. Now, and then what I do is I embed what I want their behavior to be. I don't know if I am the right consultant to serve you. It's like saying, I'm not going to tell you to sign the documents right now because you'll want to read them first. So I'm putting the negation first. I'm saying, I'm not telling you to. Or you're saying, I don't know. That's the negative. Now, you may have heard in the past that you don't give a negative. Like you say, don't think of a yellow elephant. You don't tell people what not to do. Well, what I'm telling you to do is put a negation and then tell people what to do after it. So I'm saying, I don't know if I am the right consultant to help you. That's the embedded command. Or if you are the right client for my consulting services. But if I could, now the word but erases everything, but if I could ask you a few questions, it may help you. It may help you. If I could ask you a few questions, it may help you. And then you'll find, well, what are they? Well, may I ask you those questions? Yeah, what are they? Well, I'm curious, soften it. And then you go into your chunking down. The 4 questions are, what happens when you imagine? What happens when you imagine? That's a very powerful question. What happens when you imagine? Just right now, what happens when you imagine mastering these dialogue skills? What happens when you imagine that? What happens when you imagine going out on your next listing presentation, your application for a loan, and you use these dialogues? What happens when you imagine that? Now notice when I ask you that question, you have to leave the present, you have to go into a trance. And a trance is when your current awareness around you is not present, you're internally creating an image that's outside this room. So it's just a simple question. In order for you to answer it, you have to leave. So when I say, what happens when you imagine owning a home? They have to leave, and they have to go and find the answer and then come back. And then when you say, well, what's important? I love that question. And I've been teaching that for years. What's important about buying a house to you? And that's that value solicitation question. What's important about buying a home to you? That helps people recognize what's their values. And a value solicitation question usually will tell you in a hierarchy, like, and what's important about that, and what's important about that, what's important about that. Like we teach you to find the 5, 6, and 7 as you go up that ladder, what their hierarchy of values is. And then what would owning a home give you that you don't currently have right now? That's an important question because that will tell you, are people moving towards what they want or moving away from what they don't want? And then when you say you want this, could you be more specific? And now you're really finding out what Dean calls as somebody's heart's desires. So, and it can happen real quick, as I'll demonstrate this to you, is we're going to pretend that we're in an open house and somebody walks in and we're going to role play, oh, I'm just looking. And I'll show you how this works. And you'll see how you get into an instant conversation through that objection. So let's go ahead and role play it.